Hello, friends. Let's listen to the story of a street dog who had a good bond with an old man called George. On a bright day, the beach was calm, and a boat sailed smoothly through the waves. Dolphins jumped above the water and had fun along with the boat. In that town lived an old man named George. He loved nature and was kind-hearted. He spent his morning on the beach, watching the sailing boats and waves. He heard the whining of a dog nearby. He turned around and looked at the dog. The dog was bleeding. It might have been an accident. George went near the dog and tried to calm him down. The old man observed the severity of the wound and thought of giving first aid to it. George went to a nearby pharmacy and brought a Band-Aid, antiseptic cream, and cotton for the wound. He also brought some biscuits for the dog. George cleaned the wound with cotton and applied the cream. Then he covered the wound with a Band-Aid. He also gave the biscuits that he bought to the dog. George waited for the dog to eat the biscuits and moved from the place. The dog followed him. George always visited the nearby park to watch the children playing. The dog was still following him. George's son and daughter-in-law were surprised to see a big dog following George. They all decided to keep the dog as their pet. They named the dog as Bruno. George and his family looked after Bruno with full affection. George happily kept Bruno as his companion and spent most of his time with him. George and Bruno used to watch TV shows together. One day, George got very sick, so he called for an ambulance and went to the hospital with his son. His son and daughter-in-law were worried and stayed by his bed the next day. Even Bruno was worried and stayed with George in the hospital. They did not need to worry. The doctor told them it was not serious and they could take him home the next day. Bruno was very relieved. He was thankful that George got well soon. When George returned home, Bruno insisted on watching the TV with him like before. George was happy that his life would not change because of his illness. The friendship between Bruno and George became stronger by the day. They both shared true affection and love for each other. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.